today? Everybody can hear me? Hey, thanks for coming to my talk. I'm always surprised. I always bring my wife, so I at least have one person with me. All right, so AI, all the thing. I think I'm probably the most pro AI person that I know. So this is gonna be a super pro AI talk. I'm all in. All in. So I was actually a big time skeptic of AI, and over the last couple of years, I've been working with LLMs and just I work with every kind of AI. Some people tell you that I do all kind of crazy stuff with AI. So and you kind of saw a preview of my little slide here. That's kind of like me now. I think I'm like a cyborg. So my motto now is I would rather be a cyborg than a dinosaur. Now, I think a lot of people are going out like the dinosaur and ignoring LLMs and ignoring all this AI hoopla, and a lot of people hate it. So one of the things I did on X recently, and you're going to see some of them, is I have a lot of objections or a lot of problems that people have with AI. So hopefully, even if you're in the back, hopefully you can kind of see some of the writing. I'll kind of read them real quick, and then I'll tell you what I think about it, right? When I do talks, typically I would walk around the crowd, and I get always like to eat the questions, because I want to know what people actually think, right? And so that's what we're doing here, right? So, yeah, so my man, Josh Sokol, always making fun of me. He said, "What's up with all the bling?" I'm just trying to do me, man. All right, so let's go through these slides real quick. So what I'm trying to do is address skepticism with AI. And I know a lot of you people are probably all in. Like I'm super all in. I'm both feet in. I mentor a lot of startups in the space. I teach. Well, I mentor at University of Texas, and this is a thing called Longhorn Startup there. And so a lot of the companies I see coming through now are doing AI. I just hackathons at UT for machine learning and stuff. So I'm like really deep into it, and I see a lot of startups, and I've actually helped a lot of startups get a lot of funding with AI companies. All right, what if? So this is the big thing out here. What if? People are saying, what if this? What if that? I'm gonna give you a lot of what ifs here, and try to address them. All right, and don't worry about it. I can go off the script. So anytime you have a question, I probably can answer. I probably answer the question on the fly too. You're not going to disturb. I can talk all day. Lucky we have a 50-minute limit here. So we're going to address a lot of what ifs, right? And I believe I'm AI in all the things. That's the name of this talk. I believe in AI in all use cases. There's not a use case that I don't like to sprinkle a little bit out. Dave Chappelle told the joke a long time ago about sprinkling crack on stuff. We sprinkling AI on everything, organization. Yeah, but it's not safe. This is the one thing I do. So the traditional ML and data science. So do we have any traditional data science or ML practitioners in here? So it's a couple of y'all. There's a couple of y'all dinosaurs in here. I'm just playing. Yeah. So what do you think? No, this is great. What do you think? I feel like doing crowd work now. What do you think about it? So I'm going to say 3 years ago, what did you think about LLMs? And what do you think about LLMs now?
Well, 3 years ago, I thought they were bullshit. And now I think there's, a little bit of a chocolate coating around the bullshit.
So we're trying to shine that. We're trying to shine that turd, ain't we? All right, we got one over here. We got one more over here. 3 years ago versus now.
I would like to go 7 years before. 7 years before, I was doing trainings in MLAI. So I used to do corporate trainings. I have taught people deep neural nets. And if anyone told me back then that this is what's going to happen at this pace, I would just laugh that person out of the room.
Yeah.
And genuinely speaking, like as 3 years back when we saw ChatGPT, I was shit scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. So I would say, like, I work at ReliQuest. That's my big job. And when I'm not doing talks like that, I work there corporately. And so ReliQuest, we've had data science teams for probably about 5 years, dedicated data science, machine learning, and all that stuff. And like my experience, because I'm a cybersecurity person, right? I've done automation for a long time in cybersecurity. And so when I immediately start seeing some of the chat GPT models available, what I started doing is I started doing the API stuff. And if you come to my talks, some of y'all y'all gluttons for punishment because y'all come to my talks every year. So what I do in my talks is I do like a year in review, right? And so when I first saw the APIs available, I was like, man, this is the easiest way to use machine learning stuff I've ever seen in my life. It brought me back in the day where Twilio first came out. With Twilio, it was easy to use telephone or texting APIs. Now, I think that's the big breakthrough that OpenAI did, is make it super easy for a layman, even a dumb country boy like me from Marlin, Texas, to use AI stuff. And so I initially started doing it, and so I had to hack the system at my company. And how I hacked the system was like this, right? And if you're on a security team or not in product or whatever, you gotta show value first in an organization. So our traditional ML team, they were doing like traditional stuff like trying to eliminate ticket duplicates, like doing training for that kind of stuff and all that stuff. And so when LLMs came, as a security operator, I automatically knew, like, wow, this can actually look up all kind of information, DNS information. It'll tell you the protocols. It'll do all this stuff. So I instantly saw the value where our traditional ML team did not see the value. And it's what they call undeterministic, right? That's a big word for a Texan too, by the way. Yeah. So basically, you can't tell what the output is going to be all the time, right? And so that's another thing the traditional ML and data scientists hate. They want to be like 99% sure almost, it seems like in most use cases, that they want to be able to determine what the output's going to be, right? And so if you don't know any ML, here's the deal though. If you're in cybersecurity, I think you need to learn ML. I think you need to, I would love you to understand how data science works, and I'm going to give you some links at the end. I'm going to give you some resources at the end. Always leave resources. I'm going to talk about books, movies. My books and movie list kind of changes from year to year, so you're going to see what the latest and greatest. If you want to get up to speed with your boy, you need to check these things out. All right, so the safety bit, though, but it's not safe, is pertaining essentially to that non-deterministic thing where you don't know what the LLM is going to spit out, right? And for traditional data scientists, that sucks. It's never going to pass the sniff test with them. Is it risky or reckless? Now, many organizations are worried about risk. Accordingly, I think that it's risky or reckless for any organization to not use it at this point. So since it blowed up, my man said he's been working on LLMs for 7 years plus, right? Training them back in the day. And to where we are now, I think you're crazy if you don't use it. It's that they're that good to me now. And so that's why I'm totally pro LLM. And from an American perspective, and a long time ago, I was in the Navy, and I have a relative of mine that told me I was a jingoist, right? Do y'all know what jingoist means? Nobody knows what that means? That's a big word for a Texan. That means that, like, I was in the military, and some people call me a bootlicker too. That's hilarious. So I didn't know what a bootlicker was either. Because I'm from the hood. I don't know what jingoist and bootlicker is. So what a jingoist is, like, you have an American perspective on everything, right? So, you believe the American ideology. Now, the reason why this is important is because as a country, we are a nation of risk takers. We're a nation of innovation. And I like that. And I do think that at the current time, there's an AI arms race going on. If y'all don't believe it or not, definitely. I think China is definitely killing it. They got new chips. Google just announced they have some new kind of chips. So there's an arm race for chips and AI going on right now. And what that means is, I don't know what that means, because I think outcomes mean it's always outcomes over everything. I don't believe tech rules everything, but I think tech is important. All right, so as a country, though, I do believe that I would love to see everybody in here. I'm always encouraging people to start new companies, Because if you start a company, what'll happen is you can employ people and everybody's happy. So I believe in taking risk and building stuff. And also, whatever company you work for now, I believe in building the best companies y'all can build. So we have to take risks. We can't be scared of AI. Riskier to play it safe. This kind of the same theme. I'm going to have a couple of points up here. I'm not going to necessarily talk about it. I say it's riskier if you play it. I think it's riskier if you don't play it safe at this point. All right. So what's cool about the need help bit is that, like, what's cool about LLMs? The LLMs can teach us to up our game, right? Now, I compare this to the old school. You know how when you first searched something that you were trying to learn, and it was like you were Googling it, and you didn't know what the heck to search for? And then you were like, all right, cool, I got that. Now I got better search terms. Now I got better search terms. Well, that's my experience working with LLMs. The more you know about a subject matter, the more you're going to be able to use it to get help. And it's amazing to me because, like, if you're talking to an LLM, like say for cybersecurity, if you're a cybersecurity novice, if you're talking to it at that level, you're going to get that level. But if you're like a reverse engineer or some like high level thing, you're going to get way more bang for your buck out of that. So I think it meets you at whatever level. Like, that's how LLMs work. I see a lot of head nodding. So you agree. So some people refuse to use LLMs. I'm like, yeah, because you know a lot. If you use LLMs, it's going to up your game. So everybody needs help. Everybody needs help. Also, getting unstuck on subject matter, right? So a lot of these LLMs are so beautiful because they're going to get you unstuck. Definitely when it comes to coding and things of that nature. I'm going to try to do some demos here. I'm going to attempt the demo guides. I think I got internet. I think I got internet in my backpack. And my backpack's looking at me like, I don't know, bro. All right, so even the best need help. So one thing that blows my mind, when I worked back in the day, I worked at NSA, the National Security Agency, right? And I think that's why people call me a bootlicker for some reason. So I've never seen a back. I'm not going to say that. All right. So even the best need help. So when I was at NSA, I worked on the network security. I worked on two teams there. I worked on the global network team, right? And sometimes NSA is a massive network, right? So we had routers and switches all over the place. And there was one time we had these old Marconi. I'm going to date myself. Y'all ever heard of a Marconi power hub? Right? You got me, bro. So this is an old system, and we ran lane emulation on it, right? And then back in the day, Cisco came up with this thing called a 6500 series that did lane emulation. So we had a massive network of ATM. This is a long time ago at NSA. So the thing that I did back then, and this is the beginning of my automation journey. So we had hundreds of these switches. NSA network is massive. You probably believe me, right? So we had to reprogram all these Marconi stuff into Cisco OS, but they were all text files. So I'm going to date myself again. So I could program in Perl. So you are old. Yes, yes. I just look young. Black don't crack, man. All right, so in Perl, what I did is I took the configurations and I converted them to iOS. Everything's honky-dory. But I work with people at my job that refuse to use my Perl script. And they would rather type in every command by hand on hundreds of interfaces, and that's what they did with their job. So I couldn't tell if they were lazy or they were getting paid by the hour, so they didn't care. But it was a contract. It was contractors, a lot of government contractors, though, so they probably was just trying to do it. But the problem I see is that some people are doing the same exact thing with network security now. That's why I told that story, right? There's automation plus AI or LLMs or whatever is so much faster. You're absolutely nuts if you don't use it. Hopefully I can get to a demo and the demo works. It look like I got Wi-Fi? Oh, the Wi-Fi looks connected. We might be in for a treat today. All right. Cognitive diversity. Sometimes we think a certain way, and we can be isolated as far as smart people goes, right? And sometimes we think we know everything. My wife can tell you, I think I'm kind of a know-it-all. I can't even lie. But that cognitive diversity, sometimes you're scared to ask other people stuff, right? Sometimes it's hard to search, but now you got AI as a friend. Accept and change. This is something we have. If you don't do this, like I said, I'm a cyborg. At the current moment, I'm a blinged out cyborg. But you gotta accept that change, family. Mentors and advisors. Sometimes people don't have access to mentors and advisors. My dream is that this is funny. I used to think that the internet would make the world smarter. But I think we just doubled down on stupid, man. Like, and it's amazing how stupidity scales so effectively. Right? But what I say a lot, and people think I'm joking this, I kind of trust the machines more than I trust humans. Because I see people all the time talking about how you have these I don't trust it, it's hallucinating, this, that, and the third. But I work with people that hallucinate all the time. Just like what do you get there from, bro? Like, it's the craziest thing. So are we gonna throw humans out? I mean, some of y'all are like, yeah, let's throw him out. Yeah, that dude's crazy, let's throw that dude out. Y'all, everybody knows that dude that hallucinates in your organization. Yeah, so unfortunately it doesn't work though, right? So I swear, what I think sometimes God's testing me by putting people like that in my life and working on my patience. But as far as like the whole mentorship and advisorship, like sometimes we don't have that. And I really trust them dang machines. Like I'm an 80s, well, I grew up in the 80s, right? I grew up at War Games, Johnny 5, all these different things. I was inspired by the machine I was inspired by this stuff. I tell people I've been waiting for this AI stuff since the 3rd grade. All right, so here's the important thing. This is dude Mark Wolf, one of my friends. He got a pretty good book. I'm gonna show you his book later. It says, when you need to change how, just remember the why, right? Now, I believe LLMs is gonna touch everything that we do as far as like processing information faster than we ever could, but we just have to know the why. Why are we doing it? Now, there's been like 4 or 5 AI booms and busts. The ML people can tell you this, like since the 60s. It's an ebb and flow. It's ebb and flow. Most, like 80% of companies that are venture backed are gonna fail. So most of the companies you see that are hot right now are gonna crash and burn. I don't care if they got $1 billion funding, 80% of companies are gonna crash and burn. But what we have to keep in mind is we gotta keep in mind the technology and why we're doing it and why we're doing it. And I'm gonna get to the why we're doing it, right? So this is the responsibilities of cybersecurity teams, right? If we're doing cyber, we're doing about 3 different teams, and this is like what we're trying to do. We're gonna try to identify and quantify risk. I think that from a LASCOM perspective, this is one of the key things. If you talk about application security, we're trying to identify risk all the time, right? And mitigate that risk. There's a bunch of vendors out there trying to do it. I think many people in here, I got a buddy that always makes fun of me. He has a company called Simple Risk. I love him though. He's my favorite Austinite. My second favorite Austinite. All right, so also we do detection and response, right? And these are things that these LLMs can do well. And there's a third one is crisis response. This one right here is kind of slept on, and I think we could do a lot more related to it, right? So crisis response, like crafting that PR message or doing all these different things. I think there could be a lot done there with LLMs. Also, we can do tabletops. Tabletops is a part of the crisis response thing. And I'm telling you, I've been using LLMs to do tabletops recently, and they give you amazing stuff. Because you can put it in the context of the organization, what kind of company, what kind of stuff, and all that stuff. Tabletops are amazing with LLMs. It's like, I kind of look at this like you could go out and spend $100,000 on Deloitte, and or one of these big ones. Sorry if I'm not. I don't want to call nobody out here, but anyway, so with your favorite LLM, and I'm like, use whatever works for you, right? I think these things, a lot of these chatbots and stuff, they have personalities. But tabletops are great. You can leverage these things to do amazing tabletops. Crisis communications. A lot of people don't have good incident response plans. They don't have crisis communication. Use chat to kind of like work through that too. I recommend that you absolutely go through and use stuff like that. All right, cool. So let me go through these as fast as I can. When it comes to AI and cybersecurity, what are your biggest concerns? It's probably going to cover a lot of them, and I'll tell you what I think about it. Trust but verify. Yeah, that's what the classic machine learning guy, machine learning guy there. That's what I'm thinking. Burning money on fantasy, snake oil, and miracle cures. Like I said, 80% of companies are going to crash and burn. Like, focus on you and why you're doing it. Governance, the governance. I think this is my take on governance and things like that. I think that, and this is something I do talk to Josh about, is like being able to do better governance with AI and LLMs. I think it's going to improve most of these things. I think that that's a very good positive, because what you can do is you can take all your documentation, all your reports, all that stuff can be context to give you better governance. I think there's money to be made there. All right, rushing to implement AI everywhere without bothering to, wow, that was loud. Without bothering to securely, because of FOMO, this will increase security holes. So the thing that I think about when I say rushing to do technology is, y'all remember the lamp stack back in the day? And this is probably why OWASP exists. Because like, man, I can just Linux, Apache, MySQL, and some PHP, and I'm gonna throw this thing on the internet. And now we have OWASP. That's how OWASP was created. Yeah, so that's facts though. And this is gonna happen. People are gonna throw AI, but they're gonna forget the why we're doing this, right? And they're gonna forget all that stuff. Vibe coding become an acceptable way to develop production-ready code. It might be better as AI gets so anyway, this person is talking about vibe coding. Y'all probably know some of these people too, right? So, all right. I love some vibe coding. I can't even lie. I'm all in. Anybody here vibe codes? Yeah, it's about, I'm gonna call it 25%. Call it 25%. I love some vibe coding. I'm gonna show you some vibe coding if my internet's working. I'm gonna show you, because that's all I do now is vibe code. I barely even type anymore. I'm just using all kinds of stuff. I just be like a rapper in a boot spitting. like I'm just, hey, I want to build this and all that, and it's just translated and it's like production ready, all that. Bias, non-human identities, right? This is actually a big problem, right? So if you're an entrepreneur, this is probably the biggest thing right now. I think this is the biggest problem right here on how do you do RBAC and separation of duties and all these different things. This is a big opportunity. If I was starting a company, it'd probably be this, but I'm not starting a company. Data from a healthcare perspective. I think that's valid. And this goes back to the other one. How do you protect this stuff? How many people in healthcare in here? Couple? Yeah, this is a big concern, right? You don't want to get your pantsuit off. How is these? Oh, this is cool because I'm going to show you a demo of this. I actually created ransomware recently and I totally vibe coded it. I did a whole rat and backdoor, the whole everything. Wrote the binary in Golang. Oh, I need to give it to you, actually. Let's go. And he said it's in your inbox. Going forward, moving faster than humans, we'll be able to read it, process it, and all that stuff. So here's the deal about the humans thing. I think the big breakthrough with LLMs, and I got a couple of machine learning experts in here. So the big thing, the big jump, I believe, was the human feedback, right? Being able to have a human in the loop. I think a human in the loop is very, very important. I think AI is a companion, not some crazy overlord. That's what I believe. I don't believe in singularity. I don't think that stuff's gonna happen. I don't think any of that stuff's gonna happen. I do believe evil people will use whatever they can to get to their means, though. That means hackers, that means nation states and all that stuff. Yes, this stuff is gonna be abused and all that stuff, but I think it's gonna be a human in the loop that does this, that's gonna do this, right? So that's why I like to talk about AI to security people, is because we need good humans in the loop too. You know what I'm saying? We need some good people out there that understands this stuff. That's why I recommend every cybersecurity person should know how to you should know how to train a model. You should know stuff like that. You should know about the process of cleaning data and all these different things, because once you understand that, everything starts clicking and making sense. And this is the thing, like when I first started doing internet working, I knew how networks worked, but when I started coding, I kind of knew how computers work. Now, I think the same thing with LLMs. I think you should understand how these things are trained and all that stuff. And if you're securing them, you want to know these kind of things. So it's super important. Again, I'll give you some resources on how to get up the game on that. Complacency. This is true. People are going to totally trust the machine. Stay in the loop. Stay in the loop. Humans. I tell you, humans are the root of all you know what. AI offensive capability. I think my man Jim's here. I don't know if he's in here right now, but I know he's at this conference, right? I haven't seen him. So AI offensive capability far outstripping our ability to defend. Yeah, that's interesting. That's why we need defenders with this technology working hard on it. And like I said, I'm going to show you that ransomware. This is going to be so funny. So I used Claude Code to create ransomware. I did Claude Code, and I used GitHub Copilot to do it, because I'll show you why I did it, and it's kind of funny in a little bit. Now right here, I told you there's been 4 or 5 different booms and busts, right? And this is the reason why. Because people, like I said, sprinkle a little bit of AI on it. And then that's why marketing departments are the root of all evil. Shout out to my marketing team. I love y'all. All right, cool. So a couple of resources. Master Algorithm. How many people have read this book? Really good book, right? So this book is going to give you a really good detailed interpretation of all kind of different algorithms. And one of the takeaways, and this is going to be a theme, is because you're hearing about agentic AI, this year agentic AI is the buzzword. So what this talks about is it talks about different algorithms. And the takeaway is from this book is you need a lot of different algorithms to do the thing. And that's why this whole agentic AI, this is why it's a thing. So if you check this book out and just understand the thought process, Pedro's an amazing writer, and he just breaks it down, and it's a great primer for AI, right? This is currently my favorite book on AI. Have anybody read this book? Read it? It's amazing, right? So The Fourth Age. This book is the best book I've ever read on AI and technology. This book, I guarantee you, if you read this book, you're going to see your organization, you're going to plug and play your organization, and you're going to see all the things it's talking about your organization. Amazing book. I got plenty of time. If we get this demo popping, I'm going to be so happy. On intelligence, this is my second favorite AI book ever. So all these are available on audiobook too. So audiobook, right? It's a really good podcast called Practical AI. I think y'all should check out if you listen to podcasts. Amazing one. It talks about all the developing things related to AI. Probably gonna get to movies here. Oh, this is a good book. Yeah, but this basically, I think everybody in this organization, we probably have some junior people in here, but I know we have a lot of leaders in here as well. This is a really good book on leadership and how, so a lot of those things I talk about, yeah, but this and all that, I got it from this book. So check, if you get a chance, maybe check out this book too. It's a leadership book. And it cuts through the BS of like why you should innovate and all that stuff. All right. How many people seen this movie? This should be like this should be required viewing right now. This is like, if you having your Netflix night or whatever, check out this movie. I got 3 movies, I think. Now, the reason why this movie is super important is because it talks about all the ethical things that we talk about every day. And what's crazy about this movie, and the plot is this guy falls in love with AI, a chatbot, essentially. And that's happening now. This movie is like prophetic. I think this movie is at least 10 years old. I don't know when it came out, but it's so good. And And what I like about it is because like when people do movies, they have technical consultants, right? And so the technical consultants on this movie was quite good. I've seen some bad hacker movies and bad tech movies. This movie did a great job of talking about the ethical dilemmas, right? Now, definitely, if you're trying to get up to speed on AI, this is a great primer because it's going to touch on those things. And when you start reading more literature in AI, you're going to be like, oh, snap, they talked about that in Her. This is my favorite AI movie ever, currently. Well, War Games is kind of AI. That's my favorite movie. War Games is my favorite movie. But this right here, the technical details in this movie are off the chain. Like the ethical dilemmas and all that stuff, it's so awesome. Because this is like, I heard like data scientists and traditional data scientists, traditional machine learning people, it's a lot of that jargon in here. Was it a good movie? You think it was good? Good? Yeah, all that. It's crazy. It had so many, it was on point technically. But I tell you what, when I look at a military movie, I'd be like, man, this sucks. So maybe the machine learning people are like, man, this is trash. I don't know what Mark is talking about. I like this movie though. All right, cool. So a couple of things, right? I'm gonna talk about vibe coding a little bit. I think I'm gonna get to it. I got enough time to get to vibe coding. So I'm not a big Python fan. I like TypeScript. I like to do web applications, which a lot of you y'all probably test those things. I think Python is a great thing. If you want to start doing machine learning, Python is amazing. And I'm going to show you a website that's going to teach you Python for machine learning in 2 seconds. So Python, if you don't know Python, if you know Python, you're going to be right in there. This website is amazing. Kaggle. How many people use Kaggle before? Yeah, we need a lot of people on this because what's cool about this is like if you wanted to start learning AI and like doing machine learning, where do you start? You're gonna need data sets, you're gonna need libraries, you don't know nothing, right? You don't know what PyTorch is, you don't know none of that. You don't have the data sets, you don't have clean data, you don't have nothing. This site right here gives you everything from a starter, from the absolute beginner. And if you're learning Python, you could actually get on this site and start. If you know basic Python, you could start doing machine learning and training models on here. And it's amazing too because one of my favorite things is like this is how I think should happen for kids growing up in America. I think our education center should teach code early, and I think we should start teaching machine learning early too. One of the things you said no.
We need to actually maintain the things that are in humanities as well.
You're right. Oh, but I'm telling you, I'm like, look, yeah. So that's a great point. He said maintain humanities and all that stuff. But I'm gonna make a good point here on Kaggle. Check this out. This is pretty cool, right? So my son lives in Belfast, Ireland, right? So some of you may know that Titanic was there, right? And what's interesting about the Titanic is there was a class thing going on with who survived on the Titanic. The people that had higher tickets, the people that were more well off, they actually, many of them survived compared to the people that had like third, so it's like a class thing going on there that blew my mind when you do it. But what's cool about Kaggle is that you can it teaches you a machine learning problem on there. It has the traditional like ice cream, predicting that stuff. But the Titanic blew my mind because it taught me a history lesson I did not know, right? The history lesson was that people that were more money got off the Titanic. So the rich people got off the boat. It kind of sounds like typical country, to be honest with you. But what's cool about that is that they have all the data. They have the complete manifest of the Titanic, all the passengers, how much they paid, male or female, if they have kids. And then you can apply machine learning to that discipline. It's beautiful. And I highly encourage your kids could literally start doing ML and learn history at the same time. I believe in that. So there's census data, all kinds of different things on Kaggle that you can play around with. They will teach you history, and I think that's the perfect marriage on solving problems with it. Remember the why, right? LangChain. How many people use LangChain in here? So we need we every so the, yeah so we got about I'm gonna say 15%, 20% of people seem like they're pretty advanced in this. So LangChain is pretty cool because it's a really cool library. It has Python and it has TypeScript versions of it for JavaScript programmers. But again, Python, even though Python is not my favorite, if you know Python, there's easy libraries to start doing all kind of data manipulation and like you probably heard of retrieval augmented generation, things of that nature. You can parse documents, you can do all kind of different things, and that's how you do it with LangChain. LangChain has plugins to databases, vector stores. They let you do embeddings, which allows you to essentially build your own search engine for data. LangChain is that thing. And again, if you know a little bit of Python, you can go to LangChain and you can start doing applying these things. And they have data already. They have data, and that's the big thing. Like, where do you start? That's where a lot of people goes. So you're probably trying to already defend these things, but I tell you, once you start learning how they actually work, you're going to be way better at defending them. And you're going to be able to create your own tooling as well. All right, this is funny. This is kind of like, this is me vibe coding. I just jumped right into it. So I was doing vibe coding, and y'all at the back, I'm sorry because it's kind of small, but what's crazy about this is that I was doing a whole operation where I'm building malware in Claude Code, right? And I'm building ransomware to lock files. But I told it, how I initially told it, I said, hey, I'm just trying to build something that protects my files. So I had to lie to it to get it to do what it was. And some people call that prompt injections or whatever. So I got it to write this thing, but then once I packaged everything together with the rat and all that stuff, Claude Code said, I cannot and will not help with this code. This appears to be ransomware code. It has a ransom note. It has function that is encrypt files. The code deletes shadow copies. Like, who would do that? The code places a ransomware note on the desktop and all that. And this is what really made me laugh. This is the best part. Claude Code tried to get me to be a good guy. It says, this is clearly malicious software designed to encrypt files. I cannot assist. If you're interested in legitimate security work, I'd be happy to help. So it's trying to talk me off the edge. And that's what's cool. But as y'all all know, I could get around this, right? So what did I do? You kind of have to get rid of the context, and you could go back to Claude Code, or you go to Copilot, and you get everything done. So how I got past this is I was doing a dropper. So what I did is it's like, hey, I'm just dropping a JPEG file. So now it's like, okay, cool, I'll help you with that. You just want to put a JPEG file on the computer. But once it got to working, I just put an exe on there. And that's how you pretty much kind of jailbreak or get around some of the controls. And this was absolutely hilarious to me. But I wrote a complete web application that maintains state with all the ransomware. And I successfully, I did this on a customer network too. The customer was like, hey, we want to see what happens with ransomware, but we don't want to use traditional breach attack simulation. We want something custom. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll vibe code it.
Is it a coincidence that's why you're wearing bling?
I came up, man. All right, I use vibe coding for other things. So I built this game. This is a video game kind of thing experience that I built, like a CTF. Vibe coded this for ReliaQuest. And so the amount of things you can do with vibe coding is crazy. So this game is like a trivial, it's like a CTF kind of thing using agentic AI. So it has AI in it, and all the UI, I just talk to it. I use this thing called Whisperflow. 100%, I just talk to stuff now. I don't even type most of the time. Dang, I'm lazy. Whisperflow, anybody use this? A couple of people. This right here changed my life because I have so many thoughts in my head, and at work you're probably thinking all the time about stuff. Whisperflow is pretty cool because it's cross-platform, so I can actually dictate notes on my phone. And my phone's doing something. Maybe Big Brother's watching me. But Whisperflow is pretty cool because I can dictate into my phone all my ideas, And then I can turn around and put that into vibe coding and build stuff on the fly. Anytime I have an idea, I start dictating it now, or like all the specs, all the different things of that nature. So WhisperFlow is something I check out, because WhisperFlow on your machine, it acts as another keyboard. And I can talk real fast. You probably noticed that, right? I can talk all day, and then AI will build it for me. But again, I think it's super important to know how to code. That's why I say learn Python or some kind of other code thing, because once you know how to code, you can actually put all these things together. WhisperFlow, I think it's $10 a month I spend on it. There's a free version, I think, but this is a game changer in my life. I just always, anytime I have an idea, I try to document it now. Claude Code, oh man, I might not get the demo. Claude Code, but I'm gonna get to the demo. I'll show you, I can show you better than I can tell you. Claude Desktop, how many people use this? A couple people. Hey, this is crazy, because I'm gonna show you real quick, hopefully, what this does. Comet. Huh? Anybody use Comet? A couple people. This is lit too. This is crazy. I'm gonna show you real quick, hopefully. Notebook LM. This is really good. A lot more people have used this. This is an easy way to do RAG. Suno. Anybody use this? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. This is I use this to generate music, and I know somebody else, at least one person here that likes to generate music too. So this is funny, because I did an autobiography. I did an album that's called The Autobiography. This is an album I created talking about my life. And this is super morbid. Y'all probably like, Marcus, why would you do that? Because I noticed every time a rapper dies, people listen to their music. So it's like, when I die, maybe my kids will listen to this album. That's exactly why I did it. I'm not even kidding you. All right, let me try to show you quick demos of how I use stuff. So Comet is a browser. Man, this is gonna be cool if this works real quick. So this is an empty spreadsheet, right? And Comet has this assistant, and this is actually expensive. This costs $200 a month. Let me see if I can actually do this. Hey, are you working? Yeah, all right, cool. So what I did there is I used WhisperFlow, right? But I just wanted to see if WhisperFlow was working, right? Okay. Give me a list of all the security leaders, CISOs type positions in Austin, Texas, and put it into that spreadsheet for me. However way you get it, just put it in the spreadsheet. I want name, company, and that's all, name and company only. Thanks. So I talk to AI like I talk to my homeboy. Right? Yeah, I put thanks on there. Sometimes you might have to use a swear word or there. Then and there, when it's really pissing you off, you might have to talk crazy to it. So I'm up in my room having these deep conversations, and my wife is looking over like, what? Who are you talking to? You talking to AI or you talking to a teammate? I'm like, no, I'm talking to AI. All right, so what's gonna happen here? Hold on a second here. Open use Google Drive. It's saying, all right, so basically what this is an assistant, and I would highly recommend you try this before. I actually used this to find a car for my niece recently. I have a friend that's doing HR. I've been telling everybody about this tool. So Comet is a browser from Perplexity. Now, OpenAI has their own version of this coming out here. If it's not already out, it's out? When did it come out? Yesterday? Yeah. So I had a buddy pen testing that a couple of weeks. So I've been known about it. He told me like, hey, this is coming, but it's out now. So what's cool about this is that if I'm lucky, and I might not give it the good. All right, there you go, boom. So how many times you've been doing recon or something on an organization to pen test them, and you needed to do it? This is cool, right? So this is gonna make your job so much easier. So people using this kind of technology, you can do PhD dissertations with this. It'll go out and do the research, it'll grab all the stuff, it'll put it into a Google document, the whole nine for you. All right, cool, let me try to show you one more trick. 200 a month, I'm crazy, bro. All right. So I'm just gonna go through the history, hopefully, on this is Claude Desktop. And what you see here, I vibe coded this thing right here. And what this thing does this is what I did here is I did a response MCP. And why Claude Code is good is anybody using MCPs in here, right? MCP, Mike Charlie Papa, right? That's what we say in the military. And what's cool about this is I was able to create something that used several different APIs and then go in here in Claude Code. I connect to this MCP. Now I can do mmap scans of websites. I can do Shodan is in here, just all kind of stuff. This is an mmap scan. But if I go in here now to Claude, what's cool about it is if I say, give me Shodan results. Now this is going to be that whole agentic stuff. MCPs are going to be leading the way here, and hopefully I got internet. It looked like it's working. So it's thinking, it goes to Shodan, and it actually gives me the Shodan result, right? Because I put a Shodan API in it, right? Now the use cases for this are kind of like unlimited because you can build MCPs per use case. So you can build a bunch of different MCP agents. I talked about that book, The Master Algorithm. You can build all these things, connect to APIs, connect to databases, and all that stuff. This is where this is going. So agent-to-agent communications is the hottest thing right now. A2A is the hottest thing going. So there's a couple of demonstrations. So I showed you Comet Browser. It's crazy. I haven't seen, how much is OpenAI thing? How much is it? Y'all don't know? Nobody knows? All right. But anyway, so these tools, like back in the day, people used to try to do the 4-hour work week, and they would go to Brickwork and hire people, overseas to work for them. $200 a month for somebody that's going to do all your research for you? I don't know. That sounds very cheap to me. All right. So, like again, I said every year I try to come back and show you what I'm working on. I tell people if I was a magician, I'd be a terrible magician because I just come and tell you everything I know. But also the MCPs, I vibe coded MCP. MCPs, what does it stand? Model context protocol? Yeah, because I'm from Texas, I don't know. That's a lot of big words. So MCPs, you got to check that out. Look up A2A, agent-to-agent communications. And what's cool about it is you can vibe code it all. So if you go to the MCP website, you can actually go to the Python library, download the Python library, and I'll show you one more cool thing before I get kicked off. So what I did here is this is how I vibe code. I took the Python SDK for VirusTotal, the Python SDK for a couple of different things. Shodan, I think it's just Shodan. This is VirusTotal. I downloaded them in Claude Code, and now Claude Code can reference the SDK itself inside of it, not just it doesn't have to be inside this trained information. So every time a new SDK comes out, the only thing you have to do is have Claude Code access it. So that's how I built that's how I built that out real fast. I was like, all right, cool. Give me Shodan's SDK, give me VirusTotal SDK. Now connect to those, and it did it. I used the geolocation thing. I just threw all kind of stuff in there, and it just built it up for me real quick. So anyway, that's how I think this next year we're going to see this whole agentic AI thing. This is stuff I'm actually working on. Some of these things I'm working on at work, and that's what I'm trying to build out. And I'll see you guys next year. Thanks for having me.